Hi, everybody. Today we are talking about uncertainty and change in caregiving. I had a caregiver in a group this week say, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I get one thing settled and 5 or 10 other things crop up, and I'm constantly trying to figure out what to do and how to manage all of these situations." If you're a caregiver, you know that this is the life of a caregiver. Things continually change because the health of our elderly parents or a spouse or another family member continually changes. How do we manage all of that? One of the ways is to open your mind to possibilities and to generally be open-minded. We become frustrated when change starts coming at us and we start to fight it. We get angry. We ask, why is this happening to me? Change is much easier to manage when we can look at it objectively and say, okay, I got through that. Now 2 more things cropped up. Do I like this? Absolutely not. I hate it. But I know that I have the skills to manage it, or I will find someone to help me who can manage through these situations. Many times the obvious solution is not always obvious. And this is frustrating for caregivers. And I'll give you an example from this past week. I had a caregiver who went to someone for help. And the person said, well, if you do these 3 things and come back to me, I will be able to help you with an answer. So the caregiver spent a lot of time doing these 3 things. They went back to the person and the person said, well, that's complicated because we have these 5 things over here. And the caregiver was frustrated because that person felt like he or she wasted a lot of time putting together information to go back to someone who then told them their situation was too complicated and they couldn't help them. What happens then? In caregiving and in life relationships, many times we don't realize the effect that we have on other people. So people who want to be helpful have really good intentions, but they may not have the skills to help you as a caregiver because they may have had a little bit of experience, but not a lot of experience. Another example, I was talking to a caregiver this week who said, I was using this care agency and they were so wonderful. The people who owned it were wonderful. They sold the company. They sold the company to a postal worker who had experience taking care of his mother. Now, while experience taking care of a mother is good, that experience may not be enough for people who are coming to that company looking for solutions that extend outside of this man's experience, single experience, only taking care of his mother. So this is the context of caregiving situations. If you are looking for caregiving support, there is a lot of support on my website. It's PamelaDWilson.com. I have been doing this for over 20 years. I have helped thousands of caregivers, thousands of caregiving families. I have been in most situations that the average caregiver may not experience, although some will because they are so extreme. There is a lot of free help on my website. There is a lot of help on my weekly radio show. You can give me your caregiving situations. If you go to my website, PamelaDWilson.com, on the Contact Me tab, you can scroll down. There's a caregiver survey that you can take there where you can tell me your caregiving situation. All the information stays confidential. I am the only one who receives the survey information. How do I use it? I use it to create content for my weekly radio show. All the topics, all the subjects of that show come from you. They come from caregivers because I listen. I actually enjoy listening and hearing your stories. I know I can't talk to each one of you individually, but if you end up in one of my caregiving courses because you went to your company to say, we need caregiving support. This woman does courses. Will you as a company support this for us? Then you have access to me. Caregivers have to learn to ask for help and ask for help from the people who can actually help so that you can avoid situations. The other part is to congratulate yourself. I know these situations seem frustrating and repeating, and you solve one problem and 10 more happen. But the experience that you are gaining in problem solving, in asking for help, and in life, it really is invaluable. And while you're in the thick of it, you don't even see it. That's what so many caregivers tell me. They say, oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed that I didn't realize what I was doing until after caregiving ended. And now that I look back and I can look at it from a factual and less stressed standpoint, I realize all of the things that I probably could have done better. And I think every caregiver says that. So the advice to current caregivers in those situations, if you're overwhelmed, if you're frustrated, seek out help so that you don't have to say after caregiving, wow, I could have made a lot of difference. I could have done that so differently, but I didn't know. The reality is there's no way to know how to do everything as a caregiver because you don't have the experience. Afterwards, you can look back and see that. In the middle of it, you are just many caregivers struggling to try to keep up. I understand that. Check out my website, PamelaDWilson.com. Do share it with other caregivers. There are so many people looking for hope, help, and support. Have a fabulous day today. I'll see you again soon in another video.